Showtime is here, no time to fear. Cartel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Cartel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
Mexico is in chaos as the cartels take over the country. Also, Donald Trump is losing this one. We're going to talk all about that and so much more on today's Cartel Show. Don't go anywhere. Except to your cocoa.
Now it's showtime.
It is the Cartel Show. I am Cartel. So very glad you are joining me on this Monday, February 23rd. We are going to get to the pressing issues like Mexico being in chaos, Donald Trump calling in to C-SPAN under the name John Barron, his middle name and the name of his firstborn child, a name he's used before with the media. Also, how he is losing the country. And as NYC and the West Coast sits under record snow, there's record drought in the West. What are we going to do about it? That and so much more on today's Cartel Show. But the beauty of doing a podcast is that one of the things is it's less structured, and a lot of you are here because you want to know about me and what's going on and hear about, all of that. Just like you want to hear about Howard Stern's life or whoever, Phil Hendry's or Mark Thompson's, whatever. So I just got back from Arizona again, my second weekend there. My sister went home last night. I do not believe she should have. I think part of it was her refusal to do certain things, which I think is actually from the brain tumor. But ultimately, we couldn't fight what was happening, and she wanted to go home, and so she is home. She has a very bad breathing problem. She has COPD. I'm concerned she might have pneumonia after a brain tumor. And I'm concerned the brain tumor has left her altered. She's very quick to be angry and very angry. So we've been dealing with all of that. We had to fight with her in the hospital on Sunday morning, where she said some very cruel things, which is just not like her. But she had a brain tumor taken out 10 days ago. So there's that. Arizona was Arizona. I don't think I'd ever want to live there. But Phoenix is a lovely city if you ignore all the Trump and God, guns, and gays. And that really shows how his brand of Kool-Aid is still selling to some people. There are still some people who are not shaken by the Epstein files, by him about to get us into another big war, all of that. They just seem to line up. And these are cult members. They truly are. It's okay to call them that. That's what they are. And I was reminded of that as I was in, Phoenix, Arizona. Also that a lot of people are assholes, but some are not. Really. I passed a guy on the freeway, on this 2-lane 93 freeway, and I passed him on the right because he was going slowly. And then he sped up, got aggressive, mirrored my speed, kept staring over at me. I'm like, what is this fucking problem? And it was just that I passed him. And so a lot of things like that happened. I encountered a lot of a-holes. But then again, I also encountered a lady at Chipotle working at the counter who I was telling about my sister. And when I went to get checked out, she said it was free. Chipotle bought me lunch. And no one's bought me lunch in a long time. I was very honored and thrilled that this lady did this nicety for me. So it was quite a trip. I was insulted. They came and knocked on my door and said I had to keep my dog quiet at the Doubletree Hotel. She wasn't barking. She'd been asleep for an hour. I'm like, she's been asleep for an hour. When I called the front desk door, no, it couldn't have been your dog. It was way down the other end of the hallway. I don't know why she came to your door. So I was like all insulted. So it was quite a trip. And my hat goes off to each of you every day that gets up and thinks, I just don't think I can take any more today. Like, you wake up already at your limit, but then you go on with your day anyway. I know so many of you face that every morning. You wake up and think, I've had enough already. And yet you get up and you do your day. And I tip my hat to you This morning I was saying the same thing, and yet I spent an hour on the phone with my sister trying to get her internet back on. And we did. But, it was frustrating and it was hard and she can barely breathe. And the person at the internet company, it was. So my hat tips to all of you who wake up every day, deal with all the world news, Mexico in chaos, Trump being an idiot, and then deal with all the crap in your own personal lives to where you reach a breaking point, but you don't break. You keep going. My hat's off to you. I applaud you. I salute you. I commend you. And I think of you often. So we'll be back and talk all the issues of the day, and I'll have some hot cocoa. Because life is...
If you're not visiting reallycarell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallycarell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Cartel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Cartel is the one that you need to know.
Before we get to Trump and Puerto Vallarta and all of that, we all need a mindset change. I need a mindset change. Staring at my sister on a ventilator, only 6.5 years older than me, with a meningioma, and then the residuals of the surgery, and how her life has changed. She's only 6 years older than me. That's sobering. That is a sobering wake-up call. And then, of course, family drama. There's 5 kids. Not all of them are perfect. And I wasn't just paying for... And Randy Radar wasn't just paying for my motel and my expenses, but I had to pay for my niece to be there because I needed someone there 7 days a week, and my niece could do it, but she didn't have the money for the motel. And I put her in an Easy 8 motel, and then when I saw the room, I made her leave. I booked her a place at Premier Inns, and we lost that money. And then at the Premier Inns, when we went to her room there, I said, how can they even rent a room like this? Look, I understand budget hotels, $75, $100 a night, which, by the way, in Vegas would be a suite. But I understand that. I do. Motel 6 is not the Ritz, but they should only be able to rent places that are inhabitable. Her bathroom looked like 12 crackheads died in it. The carpet was torn up all over the room. And I don't want to talk about the sheets. I said, you're not staying here. She said, Uncle Charles, it's not refundable. I said, I don't fucking care. We'll lose the money. I can't have you in this room. So there was that kind of drama. Finally the Premier Inns, I called them and said, we just checked in my niece. She can't be in that room. If that's the nicest room you have, I want a refund. It certainly doesn't look like the photos online. So the lady worked with us and got her a much nicer, albeit budget, but a much nicer room. It used to be Motel 6 and Super 8 and all of that. They were nice. They weren't dumps. They weren't places with roaches and carpet off the floor and bathrooms that looked like they should be condemned. When did it become acceptable in America to even rent a place like that? I don't care if it's for $20 a night. No human should stay in it. So there was that. And that really made me wonder, why are there no regulations? Why are there no inspectors that come around and say, no, you can't rent this room. You're a major corporation. If you can't afford to at least have the carpet tacked down and have a bathroom that doesn't look like a sanitary mess, then you can't rent the room. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that. Because every human deserves a certain amount of dignity, even poor humans. Just because you can't afford the DoubleTree at $210 a night doesn't mean your $95 a night room should be a fucking pigsty. But in America, that's okay. They're poor. Treat them however we want to. And that's our attitude everywhere. Corporate America treats poor people however they want to, and they get away with it. And it's sad. And no more is that evidence than the Premier Inn or the Easy 8 Motel in Phoenix, North Arizona. Pits. Never stay at them. Absolute pits. And yet, $90 a night. So There's that. And then, of course, how do you deal with a family member that doesn't want the care that she needs? You know, many of you have faced this. You've had a family member and they needed certain care and they just didn't want it. They're tired of it. They want to go home or they don't want to do it. What do you do? At what point do you say okay? You know, I've spent my entire life, every single day, worrying medically about somebody. I don't know what today's show going to be, and maybe you'll hate this show. I don't know. You know, maybe we should just talk about Puerto Vallarta and the cartels and how when we take out a mob boss in New York, they don't destroy New Jersey. You know, I mean, this is fucking ridiculous what's going on in Mexico. And I'm glad I didn't move to Puerto Vallarta. And I won't be moving to Puerto Vallarta. I have been looking at property in Puerto Vallarta. No more. I will not live in a country where that's even possible. I just won't. But, you know, I have worried about my parents who were disabled and their health every day that they were alive. Then Andrew and all of my friends with HIV and AIDS, literally every day, I worried about their health. Every day. Every day. After Andrew died, I worried about my health, my sister's health. And now, every day, I worry about Ember's health. Every day. And in Phoenix, I had a horrible thought that at least when Ember dies, I won't have to worry about her health anymore. That's a terrible thought to have. Because, you know, there's things going on that no one's explaining to me. Why is she opening and closing her mouth so much? Mwah, 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 mwah. Now we got to do a dental and pay $1,200, and that might not even fix it. Because we don't know the real reason. Why, you know, are some of the things happening to her that are happening to her? This morning, she wet the bed. She never wets the bed, ever. It's never happened. But she has bladder stones. Is it time to remove them? Or was it just that she was so exhausted like I was? I was so exhausted last night. Yesterday, up at 5 a.m., walking in the park 2 miles, breakfast, and then hospital and fighting with Roseanne, and then lunch, and then 5-hour drive back home, unpack, mile walk, dinner, play ball. We were both just out of it. So we'll see. We'll see if she does it again. But I worried. Oh, no, is it bladder stones? Will she be able to have surgery? Will I be able to afford the surgery? Because insurance won't pay because they're a scam. So I am so tired of worrying about everybody's health all day, every day. Ember's, mine, my sister's, yours, everybody's. And a lot of you say, well, Carell, just don't worry. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Tell me the magic key for that. You know, all day long we're told, don't worry about this or don't worry about that. Where's the magic key to turn that off? Where is that? I'd love to have it. Where's the magic key to not worry about what Donald Trump is doing every day? Where is that magic key? I love these people who are so fucking oblivious to Trump. Where is that drink, that fuck it all drink that I could just drink and not worry that he's going to get us into a major world war? Not worry that he's going to crash the economy and make the dollar and my home worth nothing. Not worry that he's not going to steal all the money from Social Security and bankrupt Medicare. Where is the magic key for that? Because all I know is every day I wake up and see what they're doing and it sends dread down my spine. Because I worry about our well-being, yours and mine. I worry that this guy is going to completely destroy our country to where there's no saving it. So where is that magic to not worry about that? How do I not let that affect me? You know, this morning at the park, Ember took off running to see Linda and Kimba. Literally up a hill, full speed, probably 100 feet, 150 feet. And I thought, well, sick, dying dogs don't run up and I'm worried about her back legs getting weak and her right back leg. And I'm all, dogs with weak legs don't run 150 feet full speed. You know, I'm like, there's so many conflicting things going on with her. She acts completely healthy one moment, not healthy the next. So I'm trying to alleviate the worries as you are. We're trying to live our lives and distract ourselves with other things other than Donald Trump. But in Europe, another person just fell because of the Epstein files. His name is And he's got a high position, too. Police in Britain arrest Peter Mandelson, a former ambassador, in probe into the Epstein files. So they're arresting their ambassadors, they're arresting their princes. We can't even get Donald Trump to admit he's fucking in the files because he's fucked little girls. We can't get MAGA to even acknowledge that the fact that he ran on releasing the files and persecuting all those that are in them, now that he's the one that's the star of them, they suddenly aren't interested in prosecuting him. How is that possible? That we are the only country in the world that is not taking the Epstein files seriously. I don't get it. It bothers me. How am I supposed to not let that bother me? That the guy making decisions for my country fucks underage girls as evidenced by the Epstein files. How do I not let that bother me? It bothers me. How do I look ahead to the future and think, I'm only 63, I am going to need Social Security and my SAG-AFTRA pension, but if Wall Street goes bust, SAG-AFTRA's money goes bust, and if Social Security goes bust, I'll be one of these seniors left with absolutely nothing. How do I not let that worry me? So all of us in this country, if we're paying attention, not just me, wake up and worry. And then there's health. Eric Dane died. And I know you all are like, well, Carell, you didn't know him. No, but in April of last year, I was at the ALS clinic at Cedars trying, to see if I had ALS the very same week he was diagnosed with it. So it hit home to me. And now he's dead. And his final words are on Netflix. It's called The Final Interview. And it's so powerful. Because his words are, live now. Live now. And I know we all want to live now. Not in the future, because you can't. And the past is filled with regret, so you can't live there. So you got to live now. You got to follow your dreams now. I had such dark thoughts in that hotel room. I was so bougie. I'm at the Doubletree and I make my niece be at the Premier Inns, but whatever. But I had dark thoughts, very dark thoughts. Like, you're 63, you're washed up, it's over. You're a has-been. You were a never was in Hollywood in terms of movies. You've never had a really big hit record. You've written a top 5 single. Your singles have gone top. But you've never been number 1 like across the world. So it's never going to happen. You're done. You're over. You're 63 and soon you're going to be in a hospital bed with a ventilator. Those are dark thoughts. To feel like no one wants what you have left to give. And I'm not alone in that thought. If you're over 55 or 60, a lot of you are starting to feel like the commercial world, you're told to work until you're 67. But as most of you know, should you lose a job and you're 55 and up, nobody really wants your talents because you're old. If you're looking to change careers or positions, or you need to work to supplement your income and you're over 50 or 55, the world kind of doesn't want what you have to offer. Why? Age. And we all deal with that. I am not alone in dealing with that. You are dealing with that if you are older. Relevance. Staying engaged. And you try to, and then you look at the world. Like me, I don't really want to live in the United States, but then I look at Puerto Vallarta, and yesterday I get all these texts, good thing you didn't move there. The whole city was on fire. They burned down the Costco. They attacked the entire city. Guadalajara Airport. Guadalajara International Airport, where I would have to fly into. Gunshots ringing out. Why? Because the government killed El Henche, or whatever his name was. And so they're retaliating. So who runs fucking Mexico? I guess we know. The cartels. Now say what you will about the U.S., but if we took out, when we took out one of the mobsters in New York, one of the John Gotti or whatever, the mob didn't frickin' destroy New Jersey. I don't want to live in a country where that's a possibility. So now I got to check Mexico off my list. Can't go there. And I really was exploring Puerto Vallarta. And some people say, well, this is just a one-time thing and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't want to wake up one day and have my city be on fire because the cartels. They said Americans should shelter in place in Mexico. That's serious. That means your safety, your very life is at risk if you go out of your house. No. There goes Mexico. You know? So that's just, you know. And where's their president? Where's, you know? It's like the cartels can just do what they want. So, no Mexico for me. Now it's Canada, which is cold, Spain, Portugal, maybe Vegas. I've learned a lot about traveling, and I don't want to do a ton of it like every week, so maybe I should just get a gig here. Like, do shows here, like every other star does, and that way you don't have to go anywhere. You just do the shows here. So Mexico is in chaos. Americans and others are told to shelter in place. Their president's not saying or doing much. And the cartels are acting like they can just do whatever the fuck they want. Sounds like America, doesn't it? They're behaving like Donald Trump. He's behaving like a cartel boss. Meanwhile, over here, he's losing the country. When you have to call in to C-SPAN as a seated president, and disguise your name as John Barron when everyone knows it's fucking you. He's such a sad, pathetic little man. All because the big bad Supreme Court didn't rule his way. He's, and now people want the money back from the tariffs. Companies are lining up to sue the U.S. government for that $150 billion. Here's the problem. It ain't there. All right? The money collected from tariffs, Donald Trump took. I have no proof of this other than who he is as a human being. He and his cronies have stolen it. It's in an offshore account somewhere. I know it. I know it to be true in my heart. We ain't going to see any of that money. And now they're going to cut programs and blame the tariffs. Just like they tried to cut TSA and global pre-check and TSA pre. And everyone went into chaos at airports, and now no one really knows. They say, well, it's a case-by-case basis. Why? Because they want us to suffer, so we'll scream to our politicians who will then vote the way that Republicans want them to vote. Because Republicans don't care about you, they just care about winning. They fly private, like Cash Patel over to the Olympics on our dime, partying with the Olympic hockey team, on our dime, flying private, not having to go through security. What the fuck does he care? Donald Trump, flying private, now climbing up his tiny stairs. Did you see this? He's got tiny stairs because he's a tiny man to crawl up. They say for security reasons, because they found a direct line of sight from somewhere to where he boards his plane. Bullshit. He can't walk up regular stairs. He's sick, he's infirm, he's dying, and he's just a tiny little man. But hey, you and me, we can go into chaos at the airports. Is TSA pre-open? Is it not? We don't know. Is global entry working or not? We don't know. Case-by-case basis. Ridiculous. A service we pay for. I am a global entry member. I pay for that. But DHS doesn't have her funding. Yeah, because you won't agree to make ICE no longer a paramilitary enforcement group of Donald Trump. We now have proof that ICE shot someone else last March and killed them. They are a murder squad, by definition. they've killed 3 people, unarmed. So, sure, Democrats are like, we're not going to fund this. Well, then they're like, well, then we're going to make the people hurt until they scream at you, and then you'll cry uncle. Because they're evil, evil people. So, I just won't fly. They're just going to hurt their big bosses. They're just going to hurt the billionaires that run the airlines, because I'm not going to fly. We never know if TSA is working. We don't know if air traffic controls are going to be called out one day or the next. Fuck that. Take a train. Take a bus. Take a plane. Drive a car. Not going to take a plane. It's not worth it. It's really not. So we have a country that's in chaos, and Donald Trump is losing his grip, both on himself and on the country. And that's why he's losing his grip on himself, because he's losing the country. His approval rating is so low, it has to look up to look down. I mean, truly. I think Hitler probably has a higher approval rating right now than Donald Trump. Syphilis and gonorrhea are probably more favorably viewed than Donald Trump. I mean that. Venereal disease probably has a higher rate of approval than Donald Trump. And he knows this. He's seeing signs of it every day. Lawmakers defecting and not voting with him. The Supreme Court finally doing their job and smacking him in the face. Countries no longer bowing in deference to him. He's losing it. And now he's acting batshit crazier than ever before. And meanwhile, the eastern seaboard of the country is buried in snow. The West is in a severe drought. And what does he do? Nothing. He's not declaring states of emergency. He's not working with local governors. He's not doing anything. He's bitching and moaning to C-SPAN under a pseudonym about a Supreme Court ruling. This man, he doesn't sleep. He tweets all night long. And then during the day, he just watches media and obsesses about what they're saying about him. When on earth does he have time to be president? Between his golf trips every weekend. All told, at the end of 4 years, we would probably have spent $1 billion on his golf trips. And he ain't paying for it. He is a billionaire. If he wants to go golfing, pay for it your fucking self. And that includes Secret Service. You pony up the cash. Otherwise, there are golf courses in Washington, D.C. You've got a giant lawn at the White House. Mar-a-Lago is not his home. The White House is. But no, we act like him going back and forth to Mar-a-Lago is completely allowable. No. Willard Jason, too gay. Well, you're too stupid, so go away. You're an idiot. Anyone that makes a comment too gay, what, you think I'm on camera sucking dick? So just take your little self and go away. My God, how juvenile to call someone too gay in 2026. You got a president who just yesterday or 2 days ago talked about a big, strong man that wants to kiss him. Did you see this? Donald Trump, in a speech, talked about a big, strong man that probably wants to kiss him. You got RFK Jr. and Kid Rock practically naked, working out with each other in steam rooms and saunas, being gayer than I've ever been, and you're going to call me too gay. Honey, if you had the brains God gave you, they'd die of loneliness. Too gay. Please. Compared to RFK Jr. and Kid Rock, I'm a Mormon. At least I ain't the president talking about a big, strong man kissing me. You want gay? Just look in your own self. Grindr always breaks during Republican conventions. Lord, too gay.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Cartelcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Cartelcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Cartel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Cartel Cast. Driving you home or driving
Good.
you crazy.
Now it's your time.
Alrighty. So U.S. tourists are stuck in a Mexican beach town of Puerto Vallarta after the drug lord's killing sparks a wave of violence. That is just sad because Puerto Vallarta is quite a destination. And I just had a friend doing a DJ set there. That is just absolutely, it's scary, really. You know, you go down to Puerto Vallarta and, you know, you end up in the middle of a cartel war. And I don't understand. I've never understood Mexico. I never have, because this is not new. And the notion that cartels run that country. I mean, I guess cartels run this country too. They just do it differently. Think about it. The cartels in this country are made up of billionaires and millionaires. And they're still drug pushers. The owners of all the big pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that. The people who make bad food, processed food. The owners of McDonald's, the owners of Jack in the Box, the owners of Wendy's, the owners of Dave's Deep Fried Chicken, and all these other horrible places that sell food that will just lead you straight to the grave, you know, and which leads you right to the healthcare industry. So then you've got the CEOs of United and the CEOs of this and all of that. So we have cartels in this country. They're just the rich people. Jeff Bezos. And they get whatever they want, and they work with impunity, and no one will challenge them. You can't even tax them. You can't even take their money. So we have cartels in this country. They're just called corporations. And while they may not blow cities up, they do just as much violence and kill just as many people. Healthcare companies kill people every day by denying care. Every day. Every single day. And now we know United actually denied people at nursing homes transfers to hospitals because they thought they were goners and just let them die at the nursing homes. So the cartels that are in this country are run by millionaires and billionaires. And they do just as much damage to the nation. They let inner cities become pits. They let hotels and motels become sties and still make money off of them. They treat people without dignity. They let people starve. They, let people, don't feed people. So yeah, we have cartels here. They're the rich. Down in Mexico, they're the rich who run illegal drug running. If America legalized all street drugs, we would cripple the cartels. Everybody has known that forever. Make street drugs legal. And guess what? The cartels basically go out of business. But the only drugs we want legal are the ones that these companies can make a fortune off of. Like Ozempic and Wegovy or Oxycodone, Oxycontin. They gave it to my sister. I was like, no, she used to have a problem with those. But they gave it anyway. And she's in pain, so she's taking them. That's heroin. Oxycontin. But they can push it on anybody. Oh, but it's legal. You get it from a pharmacy. We have the same issue as Mexico when it comes to cartels. Ours just operate, quote, legally. And believe me, when we try to harm one of the cartels in our country, the millionaires or the billionaires, they retaliate. Look what the cartel of Congress is doing. Because Republicans have become a cartel. MAGA is a cartel. Look what they're doing. The Democrats are trying to defund DHS, and what is the cartel of MAGA doing? Taking away your TSA pre, taking away your global entry, punishing you, making travel harder. Pretty soon, they're going to make it impossible to leave the country. You wait and see. So these are cartels. They just operate differently than the Mexican ones, but that's the same end. Punish the people if you're pissed off. Tell the powers that be that you are the definitive word on things. Or else, shut it all down. That sounds like MAGA. So cartel, or cult, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty much the same. They even send out people to terrorize people on our streets, known as ICE.
If you're not visiting reallycarell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallycarell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Cartel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Cartel is the one that you need to know.
You know, a person in my chat room at youtube.com/reallycarell said I'm too gay. Well, did you see that Fox News had an anti-trans activist reporting on a story about a new poll that shows up to, let me get this right, is it like 29% of young kids now identify as gay, bi, trans, or something? Fox News, transphobe, new report, young people, record amount LGBTQ. Let's see if that pops up. That's a pretty good search. Let's see. A new Gallup poll widely reported on February 18th found that 9% of U.S. adults, not 5, but 9% of U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ. So that's about 32 million people, a figure nearly triple the 3.5 recorded in 2012. So in 14 years, that number has tripled. The data indicates that 23% of adults aged 18 to 29 identify as LGBTQ. Almost 1 in 4 of kids 18 to 29 identify as one of the letters, while the rate drops in older age. Fox News coverage of this poll has highlighted these generational differences while frequently contrasting them with reports of declining transgendered identification among college students. So, 9% of the country now identifies as gay. And 23% of 18 to 29-year-olds now say that they are some LGBTQ, with most of them saying they're bi. God, I wish it was that way when I was that age. It would have gotten so much easier to get laid. Are you kidding me? But I always knew this. I did. I've had sex with a lot of guys who identify as straight. A lot. And that's because there's a spectrum. And sexuality, 8 billion people, 8 billion sexualities. No one sexuality is like yours. Some of you would never consider having a same-sex relationship. And that's fine. That's great. Good for you. Others identify as straight or non-gay, but have had same-sex relationships. You don't consider yourself bi, you just consider it sex. You know? And men, truck drivers, whatever, you know, they go in, they get serviced and go home to their wives, you know? So sexuality is on a spectrum. Kinsey was right. There's 0 and there's 6. 0 being completely straight, 6 being completely gay. And Kinsey believed that most people fall in between 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Well, this poll just shows that Kinsey was right. And conservatives can't stand that. They can't stand that almost 1 in 4 young adults identify as gay or bi or trans. And instead of dealing with that and recognizing them and empowering them and giving them resources and welcoming them into the American fold, all they can do is rally against them, make laws, and call them names like this guy in my chat room. I don't know what they're so afraid of, that more people now are openly identifying as who they were all along. This number is not new. And I still think it's a conservative number. Throughout history, the Spartans were gay, but also got married and had children. But they were encouraged to have romantic same-sex relationships because they felt that on the battlefield you would perform better if you were protecting someone that you loved. So all the Spartans, all of them, the toughest fighting force on the planet, it was an older Estes, they're called, and a younger, sometimes under 16, a young man that this older person trained, and part of the training was romantic and sexual. Now that's fact. And in Rome and many other lands throughout the world, same-sex relationships were nothing. People didn't even blink eyes at them. It's only until the modern Christian religion came along and said, oh, that's bad, which is so hypocritical because the modern Christian religion is filled with priests who fuck men or boys. So Christianity preached against being gay and had gay people in it because they're hypocrites. And that just happened in the news. That poll just came out. And those numbers, I think, are conservative. 9% being LGBTQ, I think there's even more. And the shocking number is the young people, 23% of 18 to 29-year-olds. 23%. That's almost 1 in 4 identify as LGBTQ. But somehow the right doesn't want to acknowledge that. And it's their children. If they think that of this number, that those 23% are all liberals or woke children, nope. It's their children too. But they're so closed-minded about it. They're so like, oh no, it could never be my kid. Well, it is your kids. And they just want to live life. They just want opportunity and equality. That's all they want. They don't want you to approve of them. I don't need your approval. Fuck your approval. I don't need that. I've lived my whole life without it. But I don't want to be discriminated against, harmed, called names. So very interesting poll that came out. Very interesting. There are no ticks in Las Vegas. Thank you, GCC 17. But it can't be a tick. There are no ticks here. So we have all of that going on. And thanks for the hearts. People don't often hit that heart button, but thank you for the hearts. That's very nice of you. So that's in the news today, that Fox News has lost their mind because there's a new report that almost 1 in 4 kids are gay. And of course, they denied it. They were like, no, this is skewed and blah, 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 blah. It's the truth. It happened. Wow, 25 National Guard killed in violence after death of Mexican drug lord. We've got Mexican League match postponed after the cartel leader's death, so it's bad. Meanwhile, you cannot travel in New York. It's just dead stopped. And the mayor said, stay home. 40 million people under a warning over this nor'easter storm. So that, and airlines, if you're flying, oh my God, just something. Eric Dane's family has a GoFundMe, and I used to speak out about famous people having GoFundMe, but I will tell you right now, you can, unless you're a multi-millionaire, like $10 million or more, having ALS or other healthcare costs, it'll take all your money. And only in America, by the way. Only in America do formerly rich people have to have GoFundMes for their families because getting James Vanderbeek, he wasn't broke, but fighting his cancer put him broke. What a disgrace that we have hardworking people in entertainment and other industries who did well, did okay, but then they get sick and that takes all their money. All of it. Eric Dane spent millions on his ALS. 24-hour care, specialist, equipment. And now his family is left with nothing. I don't begrudge them their GoFundMe anymore. When my sister went in the hospital with the brain tumor, if I hadn't made a plea on air and Randy Radar given me money, I would currently be about $3,000 in debt. Do I feel badly that I had to take that? I kind of do. But at the same time, I had to be there. So I get it. Healthcare is expensive. Traveling, hotels. You know, the family has expenses while Eric Dane's declining. You know, the girlfriend, the children, the kids need school supplies. The kids need, you know, this, that, and the other. They need food. They need shelter. They need to pay the mortgage. They need, you know, and he's no longer earning money. I get it now. Only in America do people that had income. Look at Ron Owens from KGO. Now, granted, I don't know how they can't live on $21,000 a month. Okay, I don't know. But do I doubt that he needed the $200,000 that he raised for medical expenses? No, I don't doubt that at all. Only in America. You know, only in this country. So we'll, you know, deal with that. The Dow has slid 700 points as sell-off ramps up following the tariff confusion. Great. Who cares, though? Only 10% of the world, of the United States, is invested in the stock market. So, you know, who knows? You know, I mean, you know, who knows? How much was he worth when he died? The Grey's Anatomy star. His family will inherit his net worth. All assets, when they're all sold and everything, will probably net about $6 to $8 million. But that's the house and everything. And they don't have access to that right now. So yeah, we have the Wall Street going down 700 points because of Trump's chaos. We have Mexico in chaos. We have the EU says it will not accept an increase in U.S. tariffs after the Supreme Court ruling. Yeah, other countries, he's trying to raise them, and they're saying, no, we're not going to pay them. The Supreme Court has said what you're doing is illegal. We're not paying your illegal fees. I wish more Americans would refuse like the EU is doing. I wish ICE would say, no, you're giving us illegal orders. We're not going to do that. I wish law enforcement, I wish the military would say, no, you're telling us to bomb these tankers and this is an illegal order. It did not come from Congress and we are not at war. So no, we're not going to go to Venezuela and depose them. No, I wish more people stood up to this guy, and they're starting to. And that's what he can't take. That, you know, that is what he cannot take. America is down over 15 million visitors because of our tourism slump. Tourism is a huge driver of our economy. No one wants to come here because of our president and his policies. There is not one thing Trump is good for except billionaires. That's it. That's the only thing he is good for is grifting and putting money in his own pocket and protecting billionaires. That's it. Tourism, he's terrible for. Our economy, he's bad for. Business, he's bad for. If you're a small business with the tariffs, he's bad for them. Healthcare, he's bad for. Homeland Security, he's bad for. There is nothing that man is good for except protecting billionaires. That's it. And pedophiles. Protecting billionaires and sexual offenders. That's all he is good for. I mean, he might be good for laughs for late night TV. He's given Jimmy Kimmel and Randy Rainbow a whole bunch of, material. But other than material for parody or for jokes, there's not much that he's good for. You know, and he is good for absolutely, say it again, absolutely nothing. Whoa, whoa, I should redo that song as a parody. Trump, huh? Good God, y'all, what is he good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again, yes, Trump. Whoa, 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 what is he good for? Absolutely nothing. Hey, it's true. There is no evidence behind RFK Jr.'s claim that the keto diet can cure schizophrenia. So if you're schizophrenic, please do not go on the keto diet. In fact, anyone on the keto diet, you're killing yourself and lining yourself up for colon cancer. The keto diet is a bad, bad diet. Bad. Don't do it. It's very, very, very bad. Do the Mediterranean diet or be a vegan. Those are the only way. Oh my God. Traveling while vegan. I should do a whole book. TWV, Traveling While Vegan. Because it was rough in Phoenix. They have some very good restaurants. Vegan and Vine is a great restaurant. We ate at another place that was like Chef Kenny's. It was a vegan Asian restaurant. Veggie something. It was very good. But other than that, it's restaurant, Olive Garden. Olive Garden has vegan minestrone, vegan breadsticks, vegan salad if you don't get their dressing. And you can do any of their pastas with just marinara. So hey, any port in the storm, right? But the others?
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Trump. Huh. Good God, y'all. What is he good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Yes, Trump. Whoa, 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 yeah. What is he good for? Absolutely nothing. I'm going to be singing that all day long. That's going to be in my brain all day long. Oh, God, it's so good to be home. Oh, I'm Dorothy from Oz right now. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. So, y'all, I'm one of these crazy travelers, right? Let's just close with this. Because, first of all, I have to bring Ember's stuff with me. So, she eats moist food twice a day that is specially made for her from a recipe from Balance It. So, I got to take enough for that. So, for 4 days, that's 8 packages of I package it here at the house in Ziploc bags. I have fucking 40 Ziploc bags drying outside because I don't throw them away. Do y'all throw your Ziploc bags away? I don't throw my Ziploc bags away. I wash them and wash them. I wash all of my Ziploc bags. I haven't bought bags in months because I wash them all. They're plastic. They're reusable. I don't want to just use them once, so I wash them. Do y'all wash them? Do y'all keep your Ziploc bags? I do. So anyway, so I had 8 or 10 packages of Ember's food. That needs an ice chest. And then I never know if they're going to have what I eat for breakfast at the hotel. At the DoubleTree, they did. Plus, I get a $15 food credit, but I didn't know that. So I brought 5 containers of oatmeal, half a cup of oatmeal in each one. I brought 10. I eat 2 cups of fruit a day. 2 cups a day, and so should you. How much fruit do you eat? Come on, eat your fruit. I eat 2 cups a day. So that's 10 cups of fruit that I have. So I have an ice chest. So I have that filled with the fruit, the oatmeal, Ember's food. Then I have 5 cups of her dry food that I have to bring. And then there's her ball machine that I have to bring. And her Kong toy that I have to bring. And then, there's my Bluetooth speakers, so my Sonos Roam, so I can have white noise when I sleep. There's the iPad. There's her dog carrier that I have to have, and her dog bowls, and her water bowl. And then for me, there's, morning workout clothes to go to the hospital in. 4 pairs of underwear, 4 pairs of socks. Then there's all the bathroom stuff, the electric toothbrush, the portable water pick. Oh my God, I have a wagon. My wagon was full for 4 days, 5 days. Full. I had a carry-on, an ice chest, a picnic basket, because I had to bring, a bowl, raisins, and pecans for my oatmeal. Oh, protein powder, 5 scoops of protein powder, 1 per day. And then 5 packs of my fiber and chia seeds and psyllium husk and all of that. Traveling is just not, it's not easy. And I have to have a microwave in the room and a refrigerator. And not every room has a microwave and a refrigerator. So, oh my God. So when I get home, I'm like, and I'm one of these unpack the minute you get home people. Are you like that? Last night, when I got home at 4:30, by 5:20, everything was put away. A load of laundry was going. The dishwasher was going. I don't like it to linger. I unpack the minute I get home. Do you all unpack the minute you get home? I do. So yeah, there was all of that. So there's just, I know, Rachel, right? I mean, traveling is not easy, particularly if you're broke. I mean, I could go out to eat breakfast, but I eat the same thing every morning. Half a cup of oat groats, a cup of I had to bring plant milk. I brought 4-pint bottles of plant milk because I have to have it. So a cup of plant milk, a scoop of protein powder, pecans, dried raisins, half a cup of oatmeal, and a cup of fruit with tea. And of course, I had to bring my tea set and a teapot to steep it in, and the tea canister and the sugar, and, because they have horrible tea at hotels. And I refuse to be a barbarian and drink it out of like a cardboard cup. What kind of barbarian drinks tea out of a cardboard cup? So I bring my tea for one set. I bring a teapot to steep it in that I got in Ireland in the hotel room. I bring loose leaf tea, plant milk. Vegan creamer, nut pods. So that's in the ice chest. Yeah, traveling for me is not like, let's just pack up a few clothes and out the door. And particularly with Ember, she's got to have her ball machine to play ball every night. She's got to have her Kong toy to get her treats in the morning. She's got to have her dry food, got to have her moist food, got to have her allergy pills, which means the allergy pills and the pill splitter. I brought Benadryl in case I needed to sedate her at night. So I'm glad to be home. I love my earrings. Thank you. Thank you, Box Park. Thank you. I love my earrings. I had my ears stretched. I haven't worn earrings in forever, and I had them stretched. Thank you so much. Thank you for noticing. I love them. I love how they look. I love how I look in them. I love that they're back because I had them for decades and then took them out. I love them. Thank you for noticing. I mean that. Thank you very much for noticing. I love them. I adore them. They're rockin', baby. I'm a 63-year-old homo with giant earrings, and some people just can't take it. They just can't take it. No, Rachel, I hit the jackpot when I found Ember. I did. Oh my God, I was watching A&E, Doctor Something, Rocky Mountain Vet, and someone brought their dog in to put him down, and that made me think about the day when I have to make that decision for Ember, whenever that is. And that whole night, I cried my eyes out in the hotel. Not making that up. The rest of the night, all I could do was cry and hug her. Because I saw some guy on the TV having to put his dog down, and I realized that one day I will have to wake up, and it will be the day that I have to make that decision. And I'm going to die. Gonna die. So don't watch A&E with your dog and watch this Rocky Mountain Vet show. It'll rip your heart out. Oh, I was just blubbering. Thank God there was a marathon of Ozark Law. I love Ozark Law. Oh my God, do I love Ozark Law. I love those. I love all the cops. They're all handsome. I love it all. I love what they get into. It made me want to go to Lakes of the Ozarks, but it's a little too hetero for me, although there is a gay resort there. But I love that show. So I went to bed watching that one night. Ozark Law, but it's fabulous. I love that show. Watch it. It's so good. It's on A&E. Ozark Law. I love it. All right, I am Carell. Be who you want to be, so I didn't hurt anybody. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm home. I feel like E.T. Home. Home. Oh, thank God. And so happy to be back with you all. So, I love you. Oy. Don't go to Mexico. Stay home. Don't go. Now's not the time.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carellcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carellcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carellcast on your favorite streaming service.